We're here, bro.
We're here.
How you been?
We're here. I've been good, man. I've been good, finishing up school, um, finally like getting my degree and getting out of the university life. I've been hooping all year. Now it's like the off season, so just taking care of my body, getting ready for the next season and everything. So it's kind of been a time of like a lot of change. It's kind of been a time of like a little nostalgia because I'm leaving school, but it's been really good.
Dude, I'm actually like genuinely excited to catch up with you. I feel like we built a cool little relationship over last summer with Indie Rising, and I just started calling you my son, and we just became like, you know, I don't know, we just built this relationship. So I'm like really genuinely excited to catch up with you. But I want to start this kind of update podcast with two things. First, put you on the spot by just letting you. For those who don't know, this is Aryan Sharma, played for us last year at the TBT under India Rising. But can you give us a quick little introduction to yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Aryan Sharma. Like you said, I was a part of the India Rising team last summer. First ever team that we put together to go to TVT. I'm a basketball player. I'm 22 years old. Just finishing up my university career at the University of Western Ontario, which is in Canada. And I'm just about to start my journey into professional basketball this summer. So I'm super excited for that. But other than that, I'm also I have a YouTube channel, which you know about. So I kind of like to dabble in the side of content creation and just kind of share things from my perspective. So I'm all about that.
One of my favorite things about you is that you're a content creator. And I think I told you that from the first time we ever chatted.
Yeah.
And we'll definitely get into your YouTube, but I want to put you on the spot one more time. Last summer, we started this thing where you would just drop motivational quotes, bro. I don't know if you still do this. I hope you still do. But basically, like during summer, like training camp and TBT, like anytime I was with Aryan or saw him, he would just drop a motivational quote, like on demand. And he had probably like 1,000 in his mind. So, do you have one you can drop for us right now?
Okay. I'll drop one that I keep saying. If you're not your own fan, no one else will be.
That's a fact.
So
That's a good
with
one.
that, like it's kind of like you should always view yourself as like the main character to your own movie. You should always like be the first person to realize that you're him or you're her or like you are like that it person, because if you see yourself in that light, then you're gonna start performing in that light, and then everybody else will just join the cause and see yourself the same way.
I love that. Let me ask you something based on what you just said. When did you see yourself in that light? Like, because obviously it's not something you just, or
Yeah.
maybe it is for you. Like, you just grew up like, yo, this is how I always see myself. Or did it click at a certain point?
To be honest with me, like I don't know if it clicked at a certain time. Um, I would say probably towards the end of high school, I started realizing that like all the work that I put into like let's say like basketball, because I find like I tie a lot of my identity to being a basketball player, right? Like if I'm performing on the court, then I feel like I'm just clicking on all cylinders, right? So towards the end of high school, basketball like really started becoming like something that I was like getting noticed for in school and in my club team. So that's when I was really like, okay, like if I'm gonna take this seriously, like I gotta view myself as like the main character. I gotta be a fan of myself and then worry about everybody else. And then like it became easy because like my support system was so rock solid. So I never had like any any people who were like hating on me that I couldn't deal with because my parents, my mom, my dad, my brother, and my friend group were so solid that they just always like held it down for me. So I had that confidence that came from them and that stability that came from them that I could be like, okay, you know what? Like, yeah, like I can view myself as him.
That was nice. Let me ask you something else though, based on that, because it's so important, right? You just talked about having your family, friends, your brother, everyone support you on what you want to do as an individual.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you have the answer to this, but on the flip side, let's say someone's following you, they love your journey, they want to be like you. What if they don't have that support? Like, do you know how they can navigate that if they don't have the support from the family or friends?
I feel like like the support is important, but at the end of the day, nobody is driving like your life other than you. You know what I mean? So it's like you gotta like I tell people all the time, like you gotta figure out your why. And your why like can't be
Mhm.
like superficial. It needs to be like the actual like core of like what's driving you. And if that's strong enough that it's able to take over like your life, basically like it can like outweigh everything else that could be negative, then that why will drive you regardless of your support system. Support system will just help, but it's not gonna be the thing that's driving.
What's your why?
My why is honestly just to make myself proud of who I am. So when I look in the mirror, right, I want to be able to be like, okay, I'm happy with who I see because of the work that I put in, because of the person that I am, and because of the situation that I'm able to put myself in. And I like I think I gotta be like transparent with myself, being like a lot of people I feel like will lie to themselves to make themselves feel better. So my why is to not be that type of person. My why is to look in the mirror and be genuinely proud without like hiding from who I am.
That's so important, bro. Because like you said, like even myself, like or other people listening, like we've all lied to ourselves at a certain point. I'm sure you have
Yeah.
too. Like, because you sometimes you need to get by or make yourself happy. But and I ask this question to a lot of people, and sometimes they're like, their why is to build this brand, to make $1 million, to it's like something that's quantitative or like
Yeah.
they like feel like they have to achieve to make themselves seem successful. But like how you said is, I think that's the most important is like waking up every day and like just knowing like, yo, I got better yesterday. I'm gonna get better today. I'm improving myself.
Yeah.
And like when you look at yourself, you actually like smile. You're like, yo, I'm happy.
Yeah. Like I heard like recently, maybe a couple of months ago, I heard somebody say like everybody talks about like, oh, like where do you see yourself? Like what's your dream life in 10 years from now? What's your dream life in 5 years from now? They said like my dream life 10 years from now is just to be happy, you know? And that hit me. I was like,
Mhm.
that's actually a really like good way of thinking because if you're happy, like that's it, you know? Like you don't need anything else. It's not a materialistic thing. It's not like a monetary thing. Like it's just you're happy.
So, bro, it's so simple, but it takes some people, even for me, took me a lot of time to understand and realize that it's literally just about
Yeah.
being happy. So
Literally.
I love that we can go off on tangents and have deeper
Yeah.
talks.
I
It's
feel
like
like
one of
that's
my
always
favorite
like what
things.
we do. Like it'll just like it'll be like so random. Like I'll just like say something like for no reason, like motivational, and then we'll just like go off of it.
It's like the whole theme. Okay, I know we're gonna circle back to some motivational stuff just naturally, but let's give an update on like just your life in this season, right? So this is your final year
Yeah.
at Western playing in the OUA. Can you just give us some background on the school, the league you're playing in, and I guess just how this year is going for you?
Yeah. So I've been playing for 4 years now after the COVID year. Um so technically I still could come back and play another year because in Canada you could play 5 years. But I feel like in this stage of my life it's time for me to move on from university basketball. For those of the people who don't know, Western Ontario is a school in Canada. We're in Ontario, so we compete in the OUA, which is the Ontario, basically the University Athletic Association. Um, and no, we had a good year. It was kind of for me. I put a lot of work into the summer, knowing that I would be having a big role on the team this year. Um, so like shout out to my guy Underdog, you know him as well. He got me ready for the
Madu.
season. Yeah, my guy. Um, and it's been a crazy year. So started off the year for preseason, training camp, whatnot. I ended up being team captain of the team this year. I was one of the older guys, so I got to take on that like responsibility and the leadership role, kind of making sure I can get the most out of my guys and making sure I can get the most out of the squad. Um, and I feel like this year, more than any year, the work that I put in, I was really blessed to be able to finally show it. So the year I ended up being the number one scorer in the league, um, scored the most total points in the whole country, um, played the most minutes in the whole country, and I just ended up getting drafted second overall to the Montreal Alliance, which is a team in the CEBL, which is like um, which is a pro league in Canada. So I feel like I was able to kind of carry the momentum from the season into now finally making my dream of becoming a professional basketball more of a reality. You know, so I feel super super blessed. I feel super happy with how the season went. So yeah, that's kind of been the update of the year.
You had a nasty season.
Thank you,
You know,
thank you.
I'm gonna throw some gas your way, obviously, because that's what I need to do. But like, first thing, obviously, like seeing the progression of, and I'm gonna pull some stats up here and talk about some stuff. But like in the last 4 years, like where you've started and where you've gone is huge. Obviously, I know
Yeah,
like um Underdog, which is like Matushin, like he's a trainer out in Toronto as well, like helped you a lot. But
yeah,
obviously, like I said, a lot of that is just the grind of you and like waking
yeah,
up for those workouts, putting the reps in, and like actually wanting to be better on and off the court, right? Because it's not
yeah,
just the
100%.
on court stuff; it's you're lifting. So 2018, you averaged 2.5 points. 2019, 8.5. 2021, 14.3. Right. So every year, and you grew in steals, assists, rebounds, all that kind of stuff. You're still not the best passer, but you have you have you know a lot of great skill sets. I gotta throw shade just once. That's the only time I'm throwing shade at you.
No, I agree.
And
I'll
then
be
this
shooting
year,
that thing. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, you beat bullied it. This year, 23.6 points a game. You had 23 blocks, so almost a block per game. You had 2 assists a game, just like almost like a steal and a half per game. Like you shot really well, free throws like 85%. Like, and you can say minutes per game. Like you had games where you're playing 40 minutes, 37 minutes
Yeah,
plus. Like you were
yeah. Actually,
like
I played
on the court,
I played the most minutes out of any player in the country this year, which is kind of
dude.
crazy.
Like that, and I know people may not understand, but like that's a lot. Like the things that you've accomplished this year, it's not just for Ontario. It's like for all of Canada basketball and all the universities. And so it's crazy because like, obviously we follow you, so
Yeah,
we've seen a lot of games. We're pulling up clips like all over the place wherever we can, trying to see what you're doing, trying to see if you're gonna dunk on someone, trying to see how many pull up threes you're taking. Like we're trying to see everything that you do.
yeah,
But it's honestly, bro, been like a blessing, like to see like even the progression from I think like training camp
for
and
sure.
to seeing how you evolved in just a short year. You know, I know you got better, and obviously you know for yourself you got better from like when you played at Indy Rising to this team. And again, it just shows what you guys know what you worked on. But
About it. That means a lot. Like coming from you, I really appreciate that.
always, bro, like I said, like in no there's no that's no gas, that's like a fact, right? And the stats prove it. It's not like I'm just saying something. Like you did all those things. Even just to play the most minutes amongst any player, like that's huge. Right. I think that's an understatement to like the conditioning, the level of work you put in, all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah,
But in the last 4 years, right, huge progressions across the board. Your game has changed in so many different ways. What has been the biggest thing that attributed to that?
I think it was just patience, understanding that it was never to me in my mind. I never. It was like an unwavering confidence that I could do this, and not in the sense that you want to be cocky or arrogant about it, but in the sense that you trust the work that you put in. So for me, and I tell like young players all the time, I tell my teammates, like the rookies on the team and stuff, like if you choose to put in the work and you choose to go about it the right way, success is going to be like an inevitable outcome, right? And I feel like the work that me and my group of guys and my family and everybody around me has put in has allowed me to stay the course of this, get better every day, every year. And like I said, like if you go about it the right way, you really like dedicate yourself to it. Like you said, it's not just on the court, right? You got to eat a certain way, you got to sleep a certain way, you have to lift a certain way. If you can figure out how to make everything tailored to getting towards your goal, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And I strongly believe that. So to like all the people who are trying to get better and who want to consistently put in that work, like if you really go about it the right way, it's not going to be a matter of if, it's going to be a matter of what.
Fucking inspired right now. I love
Yeah.
it, bro. You said a couple things, so I'll touch on them. First thing for me in the last little while has been like optimizing sleep. Are
Yeah.
you actually someone that tries to optimize? Can be a crazy word, but like watch your sleep or track it or know when you're going to bed? And are you actually aware of, like, do you actually think, like, I always say, like, how LeBron thinks, like, I need to
Yeah.
sleep because I know that's going to help me recover better?
Yeah. See, for me, it's like I'm so, like, aware that it needs to be done, and I've, like, tried it, but living in a student house, I'm not gonna lie, is tough.
I can
So, like
imagine.
and you know me, like, I don't like, I'm not, like, the type to go, like, out every night, right? Like, I when I'm in London, like, I kinda sleep earlier than everybody, wake up a little bit earlier than everybody, but it's tough when bars close at 2 a.m. All your roommates are coming back and blasting music for an after party. Because I live in a basketball house, right? It's
Yep.
me and 5 other teammates, so everybody's kinda like we're all, like, in the grind together, but at the same time, like, it's a little tough. Sleep's a little tough sometimes.
I know that can be tough, bro. So hopefully as you transition outside of this, frat life of the party house, you'll be able to work on that. What's like a normal, not normal, but like what's like a day in the life for you? Like if let's say you have a game or practice, like what's your routine?
So for I'll give you, like, kinda 3 days in the lives, like, during the season, let's say, like, on game day, we typically play 8 PM, home game. So, usually on home games, like, I'd wake up around maybe 9:30, um, kinda just to try to get, like, as much sleep as I can, like, through the night, and then I'd make myself breakfast, and then we'd have, like, a team shoot around for, like, an hour, hour and 15. So I'd go there, we put shots up, we get a little ball handling, we get a little bit of skill work in, like, super, like, low contact, like, just to stay sharp for the game, but not, like, overexert yourself. I had a ritual, so I'd come back home, I'd order Subway on Uber Eats. It was, like, the same order every time.
What do you
I
get,
don't
bro?
even know why I don't even know why it turned into Subway, like, I ordered it one time and had, like, a really good game, so I was like, "Yeah, I must do this every time." And it was
What's
like
what's the
and
order?
I didn't even like the order too, it was, like, orange juice and, like, a chicken teriyaki sub, like, I didn't even like it. So it was like
Crazy.
what it was just, like, what I used to eat, and then I'd shower, I'd take a nap, and then, like, my ritual before game was I have to shower again, right? So
Okay.
I'd shower again, I'd, um, I'd shave, like, clean shave every game. Like, even if it's a back-to-back, I could shave on a Friday and a Saturday. Um, and and then I'd, like, get dressed, I'd wear the same thing to every game. I'd wear, like, a black, like, oversized T-shirt, I'd wear my Western track pants, I'd wear a hoodie and a vest. I'd wear the pearls, actually, every single game.
Yes, sir.
Um, and, yeah, that was my ritual, and I'd go to the game. Um, I'd watch the game before us, which is the women's basketball game for a little bit, watch it maybe a quarter of them, and then I'd go to the treatment room, get treatment, and then go hoop. And then after the game, I'd figure out where I'm eating, or I'd figure out like when I can go to sleep. Um, on a day of practice, kind of like the same thing. I'd wake up around like 8, maybe 8:30, eat my breakfast. I go to my classes because I'm a full time student still. Most of my classes are 3 hours. So they're always like super boring, but
Three
I'd
hours,
yeah, the 3 hour classes. It was like horrendous.
bro. That's way
And
too long.
then
I just know from like an attention standpoint, that's too long.
no, it was yeah, and then one of my classes, actually, the prof didn't allow us to, like, use laptops, so I have to, like, handwrite every note, so it was like I had to, like, stay locked in the whole
No
class.
way.
Yeah, it would be, like, class, and then around maybe 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, I'd be done. I'd go to the university, student, like, community center, and I'd get chicken fingers and fries.
There it
Um,
is. I was waiting for you to
it
tell me when the deep
there
fry
it is.
when the deep fry food was coming.
Oh, man. No, but the chicken fingers here at Western, they might be, like, the best ones I've ever had. Like, no cap.
Come on,
And you know me, I've had chicken fingers everywhere, and so that's
everywhere.
not this that's not it's not a small statement. But yeah, then we'd have practice 7 to 9 typically, um, and then I'd get some shots up after practice. I get home around 10:15. Try to get a little bit of reading, try to get a little bit of schoolwork done, take a shower, and sleep. Honestly, that was my day.
So you're a little bit superstitious.
I think I'm like pretty superstitious. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
But the question I have is some of these rituals you have, right? Whether it's Subway, showering twice, shaving, same clothes. Are these things you want to carry like you want to carry over, or will it be like new rituals, or you don't know?
I don't know, like the Subway thing was just this year, right?
Okay,
The one thing that has been like constant throughout my life, like when it comes to playing basketball, is that I have to make my first shot every time I walk into a gym. So it's always gonna be a layup, right? Like I'll just be like, just take the layup just to see the ball. Like the first shot has to
I
go
feel
in,
you.
right? And then before the game starts, I'll be the last person to make a shot before like the teams bring it into the bench.
Right.
So those are like my two like rituals that I don't see like that are gonna change. Everything else is kind of just more of my most of my rituals are just because like I've like had a good game and like I just think that it's like somewhat tied to
I
me
know what
beating
you're
somebody.
saying. Yeah, yeah.
You
You're just
know?
like, yo, I gotta stick with this.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
for you on the nutrition side, I'm assuming it's important.
For sure.
Can you give us some like not just me, just anyone listening, like some go to meals? I would say maybe pregame stuff that you're eating that's
Yeah.
fueling you.
So like for me, like I've just like started tracking my calories recently. Um, so I'm trying to eat about just just a little bit over 4,000 calories a day. So I like sometimes have to just like stuff my face.
That's that young man lifestyle right there.
Yeah, because I'll be burning like almost like 2,000, sometimes more calories per day.
Yeesh.
Um, so breakfast, I kind of keep it like super simple. I feel um, like eggs, I like get my eggs scrambled, um, like in the form of like a breakfast sandwich. So I'll toast like two breakfast sandwiches, like English muffins. I'll put like four eggs in them, like two in each, four strips of bacon and like some cheese in it. And then I'll have that with two slices of Nutella toast. Easy. It's about 1,066 calories on the dot.
Nutella, let's go.
Um, aside from that, like for me, I think the biggest thing was like snacks. So like one thing that I like really, really like was like my like protein smoothies. So it'd be like a cup of milk,
Hmm.
protein powder, some creatine. It'll be a full banana. It'll be a bunch of like mixed berries. So you can get like the frozen berries from the bag. Um, and peanut butter because that's like a way to just add like extra calories and it tastes good. Like it's easy to make. So things like that, I just kind of rely on. And then if I'm like out and about, like in class and stuff, like I'll try to eat like something that like that's high in protein, but I also like eating. But chicken fingers is my guilty pleasure.
Yeah, I know that. I love that. I think we bonded over that too, because like deep fried food, but mainly
Yeah.
chicken fingers is like our go to.
Oh,
Um,
actually, I should say this. My true guilty pleasure is chocolate Timbits, and
oh, that's right. Now I remember
It's
the
it
Timbits. Yeah.
no, like, it is crazy, like, I feel like most of what I eat is healthy, but I'll be eating, like, sometimes, like, 80 of those a week, like, it'll be like
Oh, dude, you crazy.
no, like, I'll be, like, in the drive-thru, I'll get a pack of 10, and it'll be done by the time the rest of the food comes, it's actually, like, insane.
But you know what's crazy? They are like crack. Like those any
It's
Timbit
yeah,
honestly is like it's insane how good they are.
it's nuts.
Okay, so again, you had a crazy season this year with Western. A lot of like high games. With by that I mean like high 30 points, 36 points. I think you scored twice. What is there a game this season that was like, yo, like that was like one of your favorites, or after that game you were like, yo, like that shit was crazy. Like what you just did or the performance you just had?
I feel like my home opener, I had 36, and it's funny because the team that we played in the home opener, we also played them in the preseason, and I had 37 against them. And I remember so clearly, like I'm standing at the tip, and the guy who's guarding me, and he goes, "You know, you're not gonna play like that again, right?" And I looked at him, and I'm like, "Who's gonna stop me?"
No,
And
let's
then,
go.
and then I went and scored 36. But um, more so, what was special about it, it was my last ever home opener at Western. It was like a packed crowd. And I felt like at one point, like the game was closer than it should have been, to be honest. Like we should have been up by more. But I felt like at one point, like I was just like in a zone that I was like so like it was like me and the ball, and like every time I shot the ball was like it was just like dropping like right in, and I was shooting some crazy shots, and it was just like it was kind of like a moment where I was like, all right, like this is special, like
This yeah. So let's walk through the hooper mentality, because sometimes you can start a game and, like you said, hit a crazy shot or hit an and one or hit a shot that you would take and pick up.
They
Like
do.
couple crosses, maybe you do a step back, like something that your coach is like, yo, like, why'd you do that? But you hit it.
Yeah.
For you, is there a moment when in any of these games, like when that clicks? Like, is it like you got a backdoor dunk or you just hit a normal shot or is it and one? Like, is it something that really turns you up in a game?
I would say like the time that I know like it's like I'm like locked in is like I've hit a couple shots and then a transition three. Like where I'm like running like full speed, like
Right.
catch the ball, just pull it, like leaning forward, like and then I just know it's going in. Like that I think
That's
that is
different.
like
Yeah.
the couple moments where I know like, okay, like let's go. Like I'm
Let's
locked
go.
in. Yeah, but there'll be other times like I'll be taking like and I pride myself on taking difficult shots. Um but there'll be times like I'll miss a difficult shot and like on the corner of the year, like I hear my coach throwing his clipboard on the ground. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
It's
So I gotta kind of balance it out.
yeah, you gotta bounce out. I'm sure you have a nice leash with your coach, especially with the season you had. So you go crazy. You have a great season. You put on for like a lot of brown hoopers everywhere. We actually just launched some stuff like We're trying to really show brown hoopers exist, right? That was
Yeah,
one of the main things for India Rising, and obviously going into this next season. Before I ask you this question, you also got drafted to the CEBL, Canadian Elite Basketball League. It happens out in Canada, which you just mentioned. Montreal Alliance. Um, really dope opportunity coming for you.
yeah, for sure.
How do you like? How does that feel? Because again, this is stuff that like I'll never feel. A lot of people won't know. Playing university and just having that opportunity to go play pro, get paid,
Yeah.
and obviously you're still so young, so things will connect, keep building for you. But how did that feel?
Mhm. So for me, it's kind of like two aspects of it. The first aspect is just extremely just like full of gratitude. I'm super blessed to be in a situation I'm at. I am like knock on wood. Like without my parents, my brother, my support system, like there's no way that I would be able to like do this for as long as I've been doing this and like be in the situation I am. So like for me to be able to make the people around me proud is like it makes me like it warms my heart, right? Especially my mom and my dad. Like just
Right.
because I like they made so many sacrifices for me like to hoop for me to be like okay I'm getting something out of this and I can show you something that your sacrifices were worth it. It makes me so happy. The other side to that is that you want to always have like extreme confidence in yourself. So for me, it was never like for me, I put in so much work and I trust the work that I put in so much that it's like I'm here now because I was supposed to be here. Like I think in the sense that it's like I'm 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 here because like it's time for me to be here. It was never like in my head, it was never a matter of like, oh, like will I? It was a matter of I am going to. It just depends on when.
I love the mindset that you have. Um, I just talked with I did a podcast with this female D1 player, Kaylin Randawa, just last week,
Literally.
and we kind of talked about mindset a lot too. And like, obviously every hooper goes through different things. It could be mental health struggles. It could just be a bad game and you're getting trash talked and all that kind of stuff. You know how it goes. Social media can be
Yeah.
crazy also. Maybe DMs are wild. You always, to me, have had like a very like good head on your shoulders, and by that I mean like the mindset of like understanding who you are, knowing where you want to go, the things you want to accomplish.
Yeah.
Is there like a tip or something you could give to anyone listening that is trying to be like that? Is trying to have a mindset that's resilient, that can push through certain obstacles and things.
I'd say one of the biggest things would be like to follow people who like align with your way that you want to think. So for me, a big one of them was Kobe, right? Like I have
Hmm.
clips on my phone of just clipped up interviews of Kobe just talking, right? And then it's like about almost like pretending you are them. Like how would they go about a certain situation? How would they go about a certain scenario, right? because then you're training your brain to think like the people that you want to think like, and it starts building those like connections in your brain. And I feel like eventually like it becomes like ingrained in like who you are. Like you take your own spin of that mindset, but then it's like all of those like exposures like start becoming who you are. So I think that's like the
Yep.
biggest thing. And also like
That's huge.
it goes without saying that the people around you, like they say like you're the average of your friends, right? So you want to
Hmm.
surround yourself with people who think the same way as you, who if you're having like a bad day, they're gonna uplift you. They're like, hey, like let's get your stuff together, like let's go, like you have things to do, like so I feel like it's those two aspects like heavily.
Yep. No, it's super underrated to have a good group of friends around you. Like I said, even just
Yeah.
how supportive your family and your parents are, that's a massive thing for you. I know it's helped you get to where you are now. Um, just adding to that question is, as a brown hooper, right?
Yeah.
Trying to defeat this stereotype of brown hoopers exists. We know we have a platform, literally brown ballers. You know that it is to show people all over the world, not just hoopers, athletes in general, and like what we're doing and how we're killing it on some of the biggest
Damn.
stages in the world. Does that mean something to you? Like on
Man,
in
it
the bigger
means the
scale of
world to
things?
me.
Okay.
It means the world to me because it's like I'm doing one thing, or I'm doing a couple of things, basketball, YouTube, whatnot. But I'm like one person that's like able to help represent a larger community. For example, you are another person who's going like miles and miles to represent the community. G, Mathushin, everybody like in Brown Ballers, right? And not just in the basketball sense. Like you've interviewed like authors, you've interviewed
Mm-hmm.
like people like from all walks of life, right? And they're all killing it in their own regard. So I feel like it's such a unique thing to be like part of something that's bigger than just you, right? And it's like it's so important because like everybody who is of Indian and brown descent or Southeast Asian descent or whatnot, we all have like the shared experiences and we've all have like that commonality. Whatever like thing that we're doing, like we have that like shared kind of familial like ties, right? So for somebody like in a situation like me, like it means so much that like even if I could like help out like one young basketball player, one young student, right? Like one person in my community, one person from across the world, like that's me actually being able to make a difference, which is so much more important than me going out and scoring a basketball. It's so much more important
Mm-hmm.
than me going out and like making YouTube videos. Those are just an avenue. And like you guys with Brown Ballers have like given like a platform and like an infrastructure to actually be able to do that. Now there's like a real tangible thing that it's not just like talk anymore. Like it's like real. But like it means the world to me.
I love it, bro. I think I told you this before too. I think one of my favorite things about you was like the content creation side and the fact
Real.
that as we go and create brown ballers and all the things that we're doing, for me, the struggle has always been finding brown sports creators, right? Because like
Mhm.
there's some out there, and you know you're one of them, and we'll talk about that in a second. But there's not many. So to me, you've always been like one of those like almost poster childs of like, yo, not only does this dude play basketball at a very high level, he creates content and he can do X, Y, Z, and he can edit and he can photo and he can handle Adobe Premiere and he can do so many things that to me the next generation needs to know how to do. Right? Because as you know,
Yeah.
like content is not going anywhere
I think yeah, it's
and
the future for sure.
is the future. So I'm definitely excited. I'm always excited to see like what you're gonna do next with the content side, which is actually my next question. But before you answer that, the YouTube side, I know it's tough because you're in school.
It is.
First of all, it has to be the toughest thing, right? Because you're balancing basketball and school and girls and whatever else is coming your way. Um, I saw some. Obviously, I see all the videos. I saw the most recent ones. For you, what's next for the YouTube? Because I see, for me, anytime you post tech, it seems like the tech pops off.
The tech pops off. Yeah, like I
Yeah,
posted like an iPad a review,
yeah,
popped off.
30,000 or something like that. I just saw.
Yeah. And but it's funny because like the videos that I like making the most are the ones that I just sit and just talk.
Right,
You
like
know,
the
like I
mindset
like
one.
the mindset one, but it's like that did terrible. Like I got like 100
It's crazy,
views.
right?
So for me, it's kind of like balancing like what like does well on the channel versus like what I want to do, but also like I want to like grow it into a platform in which like people care about. For example, like the iPad review, right? People care about the iPad itself, but I want to grow it into a sense that people care about what I have to say.
about the iPad.
about the iPad. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then I can start saying about like everything else, and then they start saying like, okay, these videos are doing good because now people actually care about what I have to say.
Yeah.
Um, but I think like what I like really want to do like coming up soon, like this summer, like immediately, in the immediate future, would be to document like my journey starting off professional basketball. Not just for like YouTube, I think like it also just be like a cool like video journal like that I can look back at
Hmm.
too. There's like a new exciting time. So I feel like it'll be one entertaining and two just kind of good for me to just document it for myself as well.
No, I think that's a super smart idea. And with the YouTube stuff, like now that you're finishing exams this week, I think you said, so you'll have
Yeah,
some more free time going into summer and stuff. Are you trying to ramp up the YouTube and content side?
yeah, for sure. I feel like um for me actually like the next couple months are gonna be crazy because I finish on the 30th like exams, and then I basically have like 2 weeks at home to get ready for training camp. Training camp starts. I'm in season now, 20 games in a span of like 2 months. So during the dead time, I'm hoping to like to ramp it up, but I really see myself ramping it up like after the season
Right.
in a sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But
I'm excited. I'm excited for you guys to come. I think you guys come out here in June or something like that. So I'm
I think
excited to
so.
hopefully
Yeah,
see you play. For those who don't know, I live in Edmonton. Edmonton Stingers is one of the teams that he's going to try to defeat.
for sure.
No, it's gonna be really cool, man. I'm excited to see the content side, how you build and grow everything, and obviously, hopefully, we'll be able to connect and see each other, whether
Yeah,
it's
no, I
in
appreciate it.
Toronto
And you
or
guys,
out here.
yeah, no, and you guys have been like super inspiring with that. Like I see like you, first of all, you got verified. Like
Hey, bro,
let's
that's
throw
been
that out there.
2 years. You know how many
No,
times
no,
I've
no. Like
submitted the verification process?
no, you don't understand. Like as soon as I got drafted, like the first thing I did, I got all the articles, I submitted for verification. I got the notification that I was denied, and I was like, "Oh man!" I was like,
You
"This
once you
sucks."
once you play the whole season, I think it'll change.
And then I see you get verified, and G got verified, and I'm like, "Okay, all
Bro,
right."
I have like 12 articles. 12. This was 2 years, bro.
No,
I think they basically
you're
just got
killing
annoyed of me submitting. They're like, let's give this
it.
fool his damn check mark so he can leave us alone.
That's dope.
Yours
That's
is
so
coming.
sick.
I know you want that just for the ladies.
No, not even
But
that. It's just like for me,
no, I'm excited, bro.
just
Like I
to
said,
be.
you've been killing it. I want you to continue. I don't want you. You're going to continue doing everything you've done the last few years. And hopefully, I know it's only going to amplify in terms of your success, things you're doing on the court, off the court, and I hope that we can be blessed to have you part of some of the things that we're doing. Brown Ballers, India Rising, whether it's this year, next year, whenever the time fits. I know you're always going to be down to
Yeah,
join in.
100%. No, and I really, really appreciate that you, like coming from you. Like I told you, and I told G like last summer, like from the New York trip, TBT, the training camp in like my hometown, to visiting like Shawarma Corner. Like
Yes, sir.
you
Shawarma
guys
Corner.
like literally like made my summer so memorable, and I feel like that's like not something that's gonna end. Like that relationship that we built is real. It's like a really like beautiful relationship that's like been fostered with like everybody in the community. So I'm just looking forward to like what like I think the sky's the limit of like what we can achieve like as a community together. I'm so excited, and like you kind of gassing me up like means the world.
No, I got you, bro. Like I said, we're here for you to along this journey for whatever you need. Me and G are gonna support it. Um, I'm gonna end it here. This has been a great update. Hopefully everyone enjoyed it. It's been another episode of the Brown Ballers podcast. Sitting here with my guy Aryan Sharma. But if you have, normally we started off the podcast with something motivational. Normally I ask my guests at the end to drop
Yeah.
something motivational. You've said 17 things that are motivational already, but can you give one more to the audience or that kid watching you and is inspired by you?
I'll give you one of my most like cheesy quotes. Excuses are the nails that the house of failure is built upon. And I
I
might have
remember
said this
this
to
one.
you,
I remember this one, bro.
but it's actually true. Like
It's true.
everybody can make like 100 billion excuses of why things can't happen a certain way, but at the end of the day, just about getting it done.
You
Results
just
are
gotta go out and
results.
execute.
You just got to go and execute it. Perfectly said.
My bro, I appreciate you as always. Looking forward to seeing you soon. If you guys don't handles will be here. Follow him. This is Aryan Sharma. Until next time, my brother.
I appreciate you so much, man. It's been great. Thank you for having me on the pod.